Hi, my name is Martina Muratore and I am a PhD student of the University of Trento. Welcome to my pre-recorded talk and thank you for your interest. So today I'm going to speak about new results that we get on TDI channels that are able to reduce the laser noise as the standard TDI channels that you find in the literature. And in addition, I will give an overview on how to use this new channel to try to do the diagnostic of your instruments. To give a brief overview about TDI and why we need this technique in LISA, first of all, it is important to say that the laser frequency noise in LISA is very large compared to the gravitational waves Doppler modulation signals. In addition, right now our clock are not good enough to give the absolute frequency variation over the light travel time of a complete two-one-way LISA link. Therefore, we need to find a way to solve this issue. In ground-based interferometers, there is no problem with the laser noise because they compare the two beams that are emitted at the same times and that follows the same optical path. In LISA, the situation is different since the arms are not equal and in addition are also time varying in time. Therefore, we need this time delay interferometry technique to reduce the laser noise. It is important to say that this technique is done in post-processing and is able to reduce the laser noise by loss of order of magnitude as we see in the plots. In order to give an idea, a quick idea about what is this technique, I show a space diagram of a TDI combination that reproduces a simple TDI with fixed satellites. So the diagram shows the word line of the satellites that are the dashed lines. It shows the events of a TDI combination. The events can be a different one, therefore we have different colors, like the blue one stands for a kind of transmission events. Instead the red one stands for measurements event and the black one stands for kind of emission events. Instead the red arrows that we see in the plot stands for the LISA links, that is the light that is emitted between two beams. So the recipe that we can say we can follow in order to find a TDI is to find null space-time events in the spacecraft word line that form a simple connected closed path, as we can see by the animated yellow dots in the figure. So what I would like to show here is the new results that we get with our personal TDI algorithms that we made in Trento. So with this algorithm we were able to find a new combination that are able to reduce the laser noise at the same level as the standard combination X and alpha. In particular, the two tables shows the total amount of combination that we found out, that there are 35 of 16 links that are showed in the left table and 3 of 12 links that are showed in the right table. So the tables are divided by the number of combination, of course, are divided by the kind of combination sequence that we find out, and they are divided by the number of inter-satellite links that you can have in a sequence. For example, for the TDI X, that is the standard one and is represented in the first line of the table, the inter-satellite links are 4, since we just use 2 out of the 3 arms, and the last column stands for the kind of events of measurements events that you can have. Indeed, a simple TDI combination X alpha are just 1 measurements events. Instead, all the other combinations can have more events, from 1 to 6 measurements events. If you would like to know more about the properties of this combination, in particular the algorithm that we use to find this combination, you can just look on the reference that is on the top of the table. So in order to really have a check about our theoretical simulation, what we did is to use the simulator that is widely used in our community called LISANode, and we implement one by one all the combinations that we found out. So here I reported just two plots that shows they make a comparison between the combination number 8 in the previous table with the standard X combination and the combination number 36 in the table with the standard alpha combination. It is all the plots are made just considering low frequency, since we are interested in low frequency. Therefore, you don't see the reduction of the clock noise in the plots, and in addition, we consider all our computation considering perfect ranging. So what is important to notice is that the level of the lasers is also for our combination at the accuracy that we required for LISA, and in addition, what is also important to notice is that all the simulated results perfectly agree with our analytical estimation. The next interesting idea that we thought about is how to use this combination to actually try to do the diagnostic of the instrument. Doing the diagnostic of the instrument means to find a way to calibrate the instrument in order to estimate the noise, and so how the instrument works, compared to trying to find channels that are null to gravitational waves. In order to find that, the question that we ask ourselves is if we are able to linearly combine the 16 and 12 ring combination to find it out, to find combination null to gravitational waves. So in order to do that, it is possible to use a simplified approach. That means considering LISA with a fixed arm and equal arm. And in addition, you can just consider gravitational waves coming orthogonal to your plane. So using this simplified but also very realistic approach, we find it out a total of 104 combinations that looks like to give zero response to gravitational wave signal. A closer inspection of this combination shows that 22 of these combinations were also insensitive to the residual test max acceleration noise. Therefore, we can see that we didn't consider this silent combination for the following studies that I will show you. So here I reported the entire table with all the 82 combinations that we found out that are ideally insensitive to gravitational waves, but instead shows a sensitivity toward the residual test max's acceleration noise. What is interesting to see is that if you look at the first line of our table, the first line is exactly the T combination that is well known in the literature. This combination is indeed is made by combination of X, Y, and zeta channels. If you also look to the other combination, you see that just looking at the numbers, that all these combinations are just linear combination of the previously 35 and 3 combinations that we found it out, considering also all the 3 permutation of the core combination, the TDIs. So another important interesting things to see is that there are just 12 combinations that are insensitive to gravitational waves by themselves. Unfortunately, I do not have the time to explain in detail how we did find out this combination. So if you are also interested in the mathematical studies and also in the geometrical studies that we did, you can just stop the video and look at the slides. And obviously I will be available for talks and chat. So to show the next interesting step that what we did is that we ask ourselves, so if you would really like to try to calibrate LISA in case of a real situation, we have to study what happens in case we have a gravitational waves that is coming not orthogonal to the plane, but is coming from different direction. So in this case, obviously, our previous 82 combination table does not show zero signals anymore, but we have some residuals of the signals. And but we can say, and we calculate that the 22 combination that shows to be null to towards the residual test masses acceleration noise also are null to any gravitational wave signal coming from a different direction. So what we did is to try to find a way to simplify our problem, since it is well known that in case of a wave that is not coming orthogonal to the plane, the equations are much more difficult, since we have to deal with the direction of the gravitational waves, and in addition you have to deal with the fact that LISA is moving, and so you have to consider the different orientation between LISA and the heliocentric reference frame. However, if you do your analysis at lower frequency, that is minus than 20 milliamps, you can do a series expansion around around a particular time. In this case, we choose time equals 0, and you can simplify and however do a correct. However, you can still do a correct analysis. So what we did is to do a series expansion of our signals around the time t, and just pick the leading order of that show up in all our different combinations. So if you do a series expansion, what we find out is the equation that I show in the slides, and the important keys of this equation are the parameters n and alpha, where n is different from each of the combination, whereas alpha depends on the specific direction of the gravitational waves, but you can do a square average over the sky. Just for plugging some numbers, for x we get n equal to 2 and alpha equal to 4.5. The same analysis can be done if you want to study the residual acceleration noise in our combination. And what is interesting here is that if you do a series expansion of your noise, you find that for all the 82 combination shows exactly the same combination of the 6 test masses. Also, here what is important are the key parameters m and beta, and in particular we find it out that m is equal to 2 for x and beta to minus 16 for x. The same things can be done if you want to study readout signals, and also in this case you find the same exactly expression, that is the same exactly combination of your signals at the different optical bench. So at the end, what is interesting to underline is that all this combination measures some derivative of these signals. Some of them, in particular 2, measure the fourth derivative of this combination. Ones measure the third derivative, and all the rest measure the second derivative of these signals, that is indeed the acceleration. Here on the left I reported a table with all the parameters for all the 82 combinations that we found out. They obviously are computed at low frequency, considering an average over 1000 sources. So in order to make a comparison between our theoretical estimation and the reality, we also plug this combination into LISA node, and we were able to, and we see that our theoretical and series expansion will really agree with what is really happening in the simulators. So we were confident that our results have correspondences in what is happening in the reality. So the interesting thing is that, what does this combination of signals represents? If we project all this, the vector along our x, y plane on LISA, we see that this signal stands for the rotation. What this means? It means that all this combination of 16 and 12 links are able just to measure the rotation of LISA. It means that if you want to find other modes, like for example dilatation, you have to try to combine different. You have to try to find out different TDI combination. And in addition, it is not possible to distinguish between the test masses or between the difference of them. So I would like to thank you for attention, and we're available for for chat if you want.